you believe in the male loneliness epidemic and somehow that's going to change men's behaviors in dating, you're wrong. Subscribe. Let's talk about it.
Whoever is in charge of the male loneliness epidemic, I need them to crank it up. Crank it up. Crank up the loneliness. They're not lonely enough. They are not lonely enough. Crank it up.
So we see a lot of this talk, right? This is one of the new refrains that women have preloaded, ready to go whenever you don't sort of conform to how they think you should be. And it starts with the first erroneous belief about the male loneliness epidemic, that somehow that it's only going to happen, it's going to hit one gender and not the other, that their men is going to be lonely, but their women are on the other side aren't going to be lonely. And you like to couch it in ways and saying that, well, women build community, yeah, that's not the same as the comfort or the security you get from being with a man. Not saying that you have to be with a man. Let's get that straight. You don't have to be with a man at all. I don't want to have this video be one of those, but one is really not a substitute for the other. It's not in that you ran out of milk and you just want to use water. You can, because both are liquids, but you're going to get two very different results. Listen, before we continue, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss no uploads. Still going strong, still trying to do 2 a day. You know, hype the video, share the video. We got merch in the store. So it's very simple. When we see women saying this, that males aren't lonely enough, that crank it up, that whatever a man ghosts you, disrespects you, the date doesn't go well, the refrain is males aren't lonely enough. Okay, first off, we've talked about it in several different times. The original study that they use to come to this realization is flawed. Right? You can look that up yourself, especially when you have survey or self-reported studies like that. The initial battery of questions they use to determine loneliness, it's very open to interpretation. Besides that, when you have men in droves saying like, no, I don't really feel like that. I don't really feel like that. And I know we're talking anecdotal, but when you get it in mass, you have to start questioning some of these things. But because it sounds good, it hits you emotionally, you think it's got to be true. It supports how you want things to be. Just the same way, right? Let's be fair for women, right? Just the same way when men get in their 40s or women get in their 40s and men say, well, now you should settle. Now you don't have the options you think you have. And women are saying, I'm ready to be alone. I'm ready to be alone. Rather than settle with you, missing your side tooth, or hygiene, belly over your waist. Why am I going to settle with you? I'd rather be alone. Men are saying the very same thing. They don't mind being alone. They find it more peaceful. So when you hear this, women talking about men aren't lonely enough, thinking that somehow that's going to bring men to the table, bring men to the fold, men are now going to suddenly say, hey, you know what? Because I'm so lonely, I'm willing to agree to whatever way you want your relationship to go. That's not the case. That's not what's happening. That male loneliness doesn't translate into the real world, into dating. If you had trouble with men and you don't want to look inward, leave it alone for that. You don't want to look inward, then you're just going to keep going from man to man, especially if you keep looking at the same type of men and getting the same type of results. Then you come on here and like, wait, aren't they lonely? Why is this not bringing them to the bargaining table? Why not coming to us hat in hand? Why do they understand that they have to change all these other behaviors in order to be with us? It's a lazy approach to a dynamic sort of problem. Once you understand, you get rid of the original premise and you understand, hey, these men, maybe I was pandered to. Maybe the information given to me isn't exactly true. Maybe men have come up with this idea, this notion that their purpose on the planet is not a woman. Maybe they've starting to unlock and think about things like this. So our old way of thinking that men are supposed to go to work, come back, hand over the paycheck, let the woman run the family, maybe that's not coming back. Maybe the idea is that men are supposed to bend over backwards when they see a woman in distress, in the slightest bit of distress, in public. Maybe we're not coming back to that. You see it all the time when women complaining, I'm on the bus, I'm on the train, and this man won't give him a seat. I'm on the plane, he won't help and volunteer himself to put my stuff in the overhead. I'm at the gas station. Why won't he pump my gas? It snowed outside. Why won't he travel through blizzard conditions and come shovel my snow? Why won't all the 5 guys that I'm currently talking to, why don't any of them come and do that for me? Why doesn't my brother? Why doesn't my father? Why doesn't my cousin? Why doesn't my nephew? When you have this idea that the rest of the world is supposed to go through you in the way you view it, you're going to be constantly disappointed. And I'm happy for people to constantly disappoint you. Thinking that male loneliness, one, that's true. Two, that somehow changes anything. With men who have constantly told you, yeah, I don't really feel like that. The loneliness we feel is, we're used to being alone, not necessarily lonely. Very big difference. Outside of just the spelling, very big difference. Until you grasp that, you're always going to look at men and say, why don't you kind of behave the way you should behave in order to get my attention? And the men are saying, just turns out I don't want your attention. At least attention from women like you. I want what I want. If I can't have that, I'm content being alone. When both sides have accepted that, hey, maybe it won't work out the way we planned, then they're fine with it. This part is genderless. Women say, I'm not going to get what I want. Cool. I want to do things by myself. That's fine. Men aren't like clamoring and saying, you should change the way you're being. And if you are having those conversations, you don't got to talk to those men. Leave them alone. They don't have any type of thing approaching your best interest of heart. If you don't want to be with a man, that's fine. If women don't want to be with women, that's fine. They can opt out and say, this ain't really working out for me. The issue is when women opt out of dating, they have this expectation that men are supposed to care, that they're supposed to be up in arms, that, why don't you want to engage with women? Why don't you want to approach? Why don't you want to pay for our lunch? Why don't you want to pay for our drinks? Why don't you want to commit yourself to subservience to us? You get upset because now it turns things on its head, or the way you expect it to be. When men say, hey, I'm kind of done with dating, cool, they go fishing or something. It's not treatises of why women are awful. This is why they decided I'm going to descend to women. No, they're just like, okay, this is not working out the way I thought. At least maybe it's a thing that they're saying in the West, and they say, let me go get my password. Let me go try somewhere else. Let me give it a shot somewhere else. Maybe I'll have better luck. Rather than continuing to have the expectation that the pool you're in right now is somehow supposed to conform and adhere to how you want things to be, you should start thinking and say, maybe there's something intrinsically I should change. Maybe I should look at this differently. Maybe I'm the cause of some of these problems in this mutual dating pool. Until we can have those real conversations, you're going to constantly come back and say, the males aren't lonely enough. They're not doing this enough. They're not upset enough. When you look at the detrimental side of the things surrounding the male loneliness epidemic, the things they use to prop up and justify it, when you look at mental health issues, which are very real among men, when you look at the self-deletion rate, which is very real among men, you diminish that conversation. You make it seem as if, hey, as long as they're not doing what I want to do, as long as they are upsetting me or not making me happy in some way, they should suffer. They should be punished for that. At the crux of this is what makes this take so dangerous. This is what makes this take so awful. You would never want to hear when men aren't getting along with women, say, make them suffer some more. Make them suffer some more. So make women get cheated on more. Make them get, more DV, more. You wouldn't want to hear something like that in hopes that somehow this is going to bring women into the fold. This is going to make women want to participate in relationships truthfully, more wholeheartedly. It doesn't work like that. But listen, if you disagree, let me know down in the comments below. If you see other videos on your screen, check those out. Let me know your thoughts about those in those videos, of course. And if you listen to my voice and you have not subscribed, I think you should. Just trying to build something dope. I'll see you in the next one.